hasn't even died this game yet. That's crazy.
Oh, let's break it.
Yo, our Lucio
Say goodbye.
fucking man.
Say goodbye! Say goodbye! Watch this. Watch this. Bitch! Bitch! I'm him! I'm him!
Wow, that shit was cute.
Does this shit every game. How's it going, gangsters? I'm back, returning the Mac. I'm back and I'm better. Nah, let me chill out. But you clicked on this video because you want to learn how to play D.Va. Bet. I got you, dog. I got you. Let me help you out. I've been playing Overwatch for a really long time. It's such a fun game, man. And I recently just picked up D.Va because of the new one tank meta. You know, you can't use 2 tanks anymore, so it's 5v5s. And D.Va is one of the best options you can choose. Like, out of all the characters in the entire game, out of all the heroes, D.Va's S tier, bro. Like, there's only a few guys who are up there as an S tier, and D.Va's definitely S tier. I would say the only 2 really viable competitive tank options would be Zarya or D.Va. Zarya is really only the only hard counter to D.Va, but even with a Zarya on the other team, you can still, like, there's ways to get rid of her and to dominate with D.Va. I mean, once you pick up this character, you're gonna be like, wow, like, this is really broken. I mean, her ultimate literally just destroys people. Like, you can just drop it on people's heads and it instantly one-shots them for some reason. I have no idea why, but it's really broken if you know how to do it, if you place it above the ground, if you put it up in the air. We're going to talk about that. So this is just a basic guide. I'm not going to get into anything too complex, but just some basic tips and a guide for you guys to get started playing with D.Va and what you should be doing. Because if you do all this stuff, you're going to have no problem climbing the ladder. You're going to have a really good time playing this game. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We're in the practice range here, and the first thing you got to know about D.Va is that she's one of the most mobile tanks in the game. She has a really good amount of health. She has 650, half of its armor, which means you're going to take a little bit less damage for that first half of your health bar. And she can also move around really well. So this thruster right here, the L1 move, is literally so good for moving around. You can get up to high ground. You can do all sorts of stuff. You can cancel it, and also with the thrusters, you can knock enemies back. See, you can knock them back with it. It also does a little bit of damage, so it's really good for finishing off enemies that are running away, chasing after them, and stuff like that. So you got to utilize the thrusters to get a good position. A lot of the times you can use your thruster and combine it with the defense matrix to push enemies backwards that are pushing up, because your defense matrix eats literally every projectile that isn't like a laser beam, like Zarya's beam or Symmetra's beam, but it'll eat missiles, bullets, anything. It's a great way to stay alive, really. You know, literally anything that's flying at you that isn't like a beam, you can eat up. So you can eat up Moira's orbs, all that kind of stuff. You can just literally disintegrate, and it's perfect for protecting your teammates. It's perfect for protecting yourself. A lot of the times you can push like this and then eat up all your enemies' bullets, so they literally can't take damage. It's great for helping out your teammates because your teammates can shoot them while they're basically rendered useless. And another thing you can do is also you can eat ults. Certain ults you can just shut down, like a Reaper right here. All you gotta do, just put the Reaper inside the defense matrix and he will not be able to get a shot off. Literally so broken. The defense matrix paired with D.Va's mobility is just on another level. So yeah, you make sure you're utilizing the defense matrix and also the thrusters to get good positioning. And also another thing that's important to notice is you can put it to the side like this. So if fire was coming from over here, you can put it to the side and eat it there. Just think of it as like a long line that eats anything. So I'm gonna show it to y'all right here. If you're standing right here, the bullets are coming towards those guys. What you can do is put that right there and it blocks all them. And it has decent range. I mean, you can do it from very far away, so it's really good for protecting your teammates. Make sure you're doing that, pushing up aggressively, pushing your enemies back, and spamming missiles and stuff like that, because it's really broken. Now, another thing I want to talk about is these, you got these fusion cannons, right? But at the same time, you also have these missiles that add to your DPS. So it's really broken for for like chasing after enemies. It's also good for adding extra DPS because at long range these don't really do that much damage. Same thing with the missiles, but at a long range you can still take out a lot of your enemy's health with these missiles. So it's really good to have. I literally use my middle finger to hold the right trigger, and then I use my pointer finger on the missiles, because as you can see, it's great for picking off enemies at a medium distance, because not all the time you're going to be right next to enemies. The closer you are to your enemies, the more you have a chance of getting killed. So you want to keep your engagements to like medium to short range. You know, you don't want to be like sniping someone across the map with this thing. You know, it's not going to do that much damage, as you can see. If you do want to pick off somebody that's farther away, I would try going for the missiles. That's the only long range sort of attack I would do, but even then you're not gonna get a kill usually with those missiles unless they're really weak. So make sure you're alternating between those, and also alternating between your defense matrix while you're attacking. All right, next real quick, I want to talk about the ult. D.Va's ult is probably her biggest weapon, and if you know how to utilize it, you can take out the entire team like every time. It's very, very broken. Anybody who's next to it or within its range, which is decently far, will just be obliterated. It one-shots every single class. It's really broken, and what a lot of people have a tendency to do is just put their missile down, you know, just pressing triangle, putting it right where they are, or they send it with the thruster on the ground, and then they do it. If you didn't know, you can use D.Va's ult off the thruster, so it goes far, like this right here. See, you can put it up in the sky. That's probably the best way to do it, because see that? Look how high up that was, and it still affected all those guys. The big weakness about D.Va's ultimate is that if you put it on the ground and it lands right here, say, if someone's right here, it's not going to affect them. Even if they're like right here, it won't damage them. As long as it's like, as they're behind cover completely, it won't even touch them. So the best way to do it is to put it up in the sky, because if it's like right here, it's going to damage everybody around this, and it won't get blocked by cover. It'll go over the cover. So that's one way to do it. It does take a little bit of practice to get used to. I will say that it's pretty tricky to learn at first. Don't just slide your ultimate in on the ground, just put it down in place, because your enemies are going to have enough time to react. They're going to be able to get out of the way. If you're going to have it land on the ground, at least put it up first, and in some situations it is better to put it on the ground, but you should, for the most part, just fling it up into the air. You can also like do it from really far away. The way it works is, the earlier in the thrust that you release it, the farther it will go. So if you release it at the end of the thrust, it's just not even going to move, and it's probably going to drop right down if you're up in the sky. But if you do it like this, here, I'll stand back here so I can show you. You don't always have to fling it right up into the air. It's all about angles and learning when it drops. But if I'm standing, say, right here, release it right at the top of the thruster, it's going to land right on top of them. Boom. See that? If you learn the timing and you learn how to do it correctly, you can take out large chunks of the enemy team and completely change the tide of a game. Now, like I said, it's purely situational, but a lot of the times, a lot of your enemies are going to be in a big open area, and the best way to do it is just to put it on top of their heads, and they will not be able to react and get out of the way. So that's my best advice for doing the ult. But do practice, get into the practice range, learn how to do it, and then once you feel comfortable enough, then try and pull off some cool D.Va bombs in the games. But you know, make sure you know how to do it first, because if you don't know how to do it, you're just gonna waste it. Like, don't just fling it in like that. You might get a few kills, but situationally, see that? 2 of them got out of the way. So it's not the best idea to do that. So make sure you're flinging it up in the air for the most part. So D.Va's really unique because when she dies, she actually gets a second chance, and she ejects from her mech, and then you become baby D.Va or pilot D.Va, whatever you want to call it. She becomes just like herself without the mech. So as you can see here, I'm keeping my distance, and I'm trying to land as many hits as I can, because every hit that you get gets you a large amount of percentage to get back into your mech. It'll regenerate, I think, 2 per second to your ult of getting the mech back, but you basically have 2 separate ults. One is when you're outside your mech and you're trying to get your mech back. That one charges really fast in comparison to the other one. But that's just because, you know, you're walking around. So you got to keep your distance and make sure you're not, you know, charging right into the enemy, and just try and land those tiny little hits to get your charge back. Now, the other ultimate is that one you can see right there. and that's the money maker right there. You're always going to get some kills with that. It's rare that you don't at least get one kill with it. And people can dodge it. They do get out of the way, so you have to make sure you place it right. But other times you can just use it to push people back, like I just did there. I wasn't necessarily trying to go for a kill. I kind of just flung it in the way so my teammates could get on the payload and push it up. And as you can see here, we're pushing the enemies back, trying to get them to retreat so we can get the payload up further. D.Va's really good because she can play attack and defense really well. She can be on the offensive like I'm doing here. I'm just chasing after these guys, trying to push them back as far as I can with my defense matrix and picking them off. And what I like to do as a D.Va is I like to pick off weak targets. As you can see there, I just picked off that baby D.Va. If I see like a Mercy or something like that who's not suspecting it, I'll charge in and try and pick off healers, weak players, things like that. Tanks are a little bit harder to pick off. If they're not looking at you though, you can still pick off tanks. But I like to chase after a little bit. You can't go too far. This game, we're really winning by a lot. They don't have a lot of people, so I chase after this Sojourner right here. But this right here is not something you should be doing all the time. Only if you're just trying to push enemies back. See, that gives them a chance to recover. But I'm pushing up here. I'm still trying to get them back. As D.Va, you're just supposed to apply pressure as best you can on defense and offense. D.Va's really good for applying pressure on both sides, which is really, really good. I think D.Va's a great character that fits my playstyle well. So as you can see, there's a Ryan right there who's not paying attention. I'm just gonna push up on him, easy, get that kill. Like that's just crazy, bro. Anytime you see somebody who's not paying attention and not suspecting an attack, just swoop in and get him. See how I'm doing that right there? And then boom, I put the ultimate to secure the win. Because anyone who's near it is gonna be killed. So it's really good for protecting the payload, for advancing your team, things like that. So that's really my D.Va guide. I kept it brief, I kept it basic because I don't want to get into too complex things like flick bombs or anything like that. One thing I didn't really touch on is that Sigma, Orisa, Reinhardt, all those shields that they can put up, they do actually deflect your bomb. Like if enemies are behind the shield, they won't be affected by your ultimate. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you break down whatever shield they have up before you throw your ultimate in. And you'll be all set. I think D.Va's a great option for the new meta, the one tank meta. It's gonna be a fun time playing this game. I've been having a blast playing with all my friends. We've been climbing the ladder together. I'm about to hit diamond, and I haven't played this game in a long time, so it's really fun. If you're still here, you're still watching the video, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel because I'm dropping content like this all the time, man. I'm gonna be playing a lot of different games now on my channel, just to branch out and see how it does. So if you're still rocking with me, much love and peace out.